Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Barnes of the Houston Chronicle and Chron.com. I'd like to welcome you to the Tapout Season 2 teleconference. Just to introduce the Tapout crew and the Tapout television show, the second season of the hit reality series Tapout premieres on Wednesday, July 30th at 10 p.m. Eastern on Versus. The show follows Mask, Punk-Ass, and Skyscrape, the crew behind the premier mixed martial arts clothing and gear line Tapout, on their cross-country travels in search of the next MMA superstar. Traveling around the country in a tricked-out tour bus, the crew is on the hunt to discover a fighter who has what it takes to represent the Tapout label. But before these up-and-comers fight their way out of the cage, they have to fight their way in with the Tapout crew. The crew bonds with their fighter as they test out his personality, and in between the usual Tapout mayhem, make sure their new protege gets the proper training before the big fight. In each episode, it's all on the line as each fighter gets one shot to impress the crew and show off his skills in the cage. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Tapout crew, Mask, Punk-Ass, and Skyscrape, and open it up for some opening comments. Mask, is there anything you'd like to say to open the teleconference?
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm just glad you guys took the time to come on here and talk with us and ask us a few questions face-to-face. And as long as you don't ask me what I did last night or what I'm doing tomorrow night, I'm all good.
Fair enough. Punk-Ass, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming on, and glad to have a second season in the bag, and look forward to doing a third.
Great, and Skyscrape.
I just want to hear Punk-Ass and Mask talk some more. They got good voices. They sound nice when they speak.
Just let yourself short, man. I think you'll be just fine.
Like a little kid, great.
At this time,
you sound like a little kid on the phone.
I'm gonna speak like this. I'm just gonna talk like that the whole time for you, Punk-Ass.
I never heard you on the phone before, bro. You sound like a little kid.
Bigger. You sound bigger on the phone.
All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the operator, and she's going to tell all the participants how they can get in the queue and ask questions.
Certainly, Mr. Barnes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, please press star, then 1 on your touch-tone telephone. You'll hear a tone indicating you've been placed in the queue, then a voice prompt will let you know your line has been opened. Just keep in mind, if you're using a speakerphone, to make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach the equipment. Once again, that is star 1 for phone questions.
All right, operator, will you for our first question?
Absolutely.
Your line is open.
Caller, please go ahead. Your line is open.
Oh, hi. This is Alan Lee for Combat Hooligans. In Season 1, you followed Matt Fiodarosa as he trained for a match against Christian Geraci. Recently, it's been uncovered that Geraci's record and black belt were fraudulent. Were you guys ever made aware of this? And the follow-up to that is, would you have given Geraci airtime had you known? I'll shut up now and let you guys answer. Thank you.
Hey, this is Mask. The guys that, I'll tell you this, I'm not familiar with the fighter's record that our fighter is fighting. That's always up to the promoter. So I have never been aware of a fighter's record before he's fighting. We're so focused on our fighter, and we leave it to our fighter's manager and the promoter to match them up equally. Some of the guys, like with Matt Major, he was fighting his first fight, so I would hope that his manager or promoter isn't giving him a guy who's fought 15 or 20 fights, something like that. But as far as if a guy wants to say he's had 10 fights or 3 fights and he's fighting one of our guys, his manager should watch that close so that he doesn't get unequally matched. Oh, that was Matt speaking.
Yeah, this Punk-Ass, at this stage in the game, when those guys are fighting, it's pretty much, it's like a AAA, it's AAA at the sport, it's not real organized yet at that level. And, there's ways to Google and find people's records and I would expect that the fighter going in there isn't maybe he was a match or two off, maybe he had a couple extra fights, win or losses, whatever they were, but both the fighters are coming there to fight, and I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference to either guy, if you bibbed on a couple matches.
Next question.
All right, well, as a reminder to the audience, it's star 1.
Your line is now muted.
Caller, your line is open. Please go ahead with your question.
Hey, how you guys doing? This is Brant with MMAopinion.com. I got a few questions for you guys regarding the show and also just regarding the company. So, what differences are we going to see from Season 1? What should we expect? That's my first question. Secondly, out of all the fighters you work with in the first season, who's been your favorite? Just for fun, who's been the biggest headache? And who do you think is the best advertising asset for you guys? And my last question, now that Affliction is, becoming a bigger name, they got their pay-per-view, with them also being a clothing line, how do you feel about that? Do you welcome the competition, or are you just looking to kind of, not really deal with it and just keep going and doing what you're doing?
You want to go first, Punk Ass, or you want me to go?
Well, you go ahead because the first question was more towards you.
Okay, this is Mask.
Just between our seasons.
Okay, this is Mask, and bro, I went to high school. I didn't finish college. You got a lot of questions. I felt like I took a test.
I started writing down.
I was like, wait,
I better write these down.
I'm going no meat byproduct, no soybean, no corn, no vegetable oil. I was like, I can't remember the ingredients. Hey, but on this first season, the second season, man, it's just like one day to the next. We're just reacting, and personally, I don't like to know a lot what's coming. And Punk Ass and Scrape, I'm pretty sure, are kind of the same. We just react to situations the way we've always reacted. The second season, I think you're going to notice that Punk Ass is a lot more attractive. Scrape takes his glasses and he runs and hides, and so the radiance from the beauty from his eyes, it's hypnotizing. So it's going to be hard to probably turn that episode off. But
this is great. Punk Ass scored 2-2 in one of the episodes.
Hey. Answer the guy's question, somebody. I don't want to. Matt,
and I think that's questions 1 and 2. Let me see. Give me your third one and fourth one. I remember the fourth one. What was the third one?
I had 3 of them. The second one was out of all the fighters you've worked with, who's your favorite?
Got it. No favorites, man. That's like if my cousins or my mom or dad or Scrape or Punk Ass. I have no favorites. Everybody's an individual. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to, and this is Matt speaking, it's hard for me to even tell you my favorite ice cream at 31 flavors, though, because it just varies day to day. As far as who's the biggest headache, man,
I think everybody knows that one.
I'd say it was kind of a fun challenge. I don't know. I kind of like challenges, and I kind of like dealing with different personalities, and Matt Major was just as much of a challenge to me as Sunshine. Sunshine I couldn't really relate to. I think I say that in the episode because we didn't really grow up having maybe good homes like that, so that was kind of different and challenging, and I wanted to try to do fun things with him. And Matt Major, I kind of once we got in there and saw what was coming, we hadn't even met him before. Our relationship was with Bob Cook, and we just knew fight record, and actually we had kind of decided on Matt Major once we were there, but we walked in. Actually, there was 3 or 4 fighters we were looking at there, including Fitch, who's that we were interested in sponsoring at the time. But once Matt Major started, I mean, you can see Punk Ass adjust real quick. I inwardly adjust. Scrape laid back in the cut, and it did the do. As far as who, I'm just going to elaborate for a second and let the guys take it. But as far as who's the best marketing, I mean, controversy creates public curiosity. So anytime something is surrounded by controversy, it's going to make people pay attention. Now, if you have something that is, top notch, once they're paying attention, like if everybody pays attention to a piece of shit, it's still shit. But if everybody pays attention to something and it's a diamond, now it gets a chance to shine. And as for your question about any clothing company, I mean, I worry about myself and what I'm doing day to day, and to me, we're number 1 and 2, and everybody else needs to watch the path that we're trailblazing because we're leading this game. So that goes for any clothing company. I don't care if you want to bring up Nike or somebody I haven't even heard about.
Preach, dog, preach.
Mask,
every day.
Mask, you can't say shit, bro. This Punk Ass.
You just said shit, Punk Ass. You're not allowed to say it.
I thought they were typing. I didn't know it was any live radio.
Okay.
They're
recording this. They're recording it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll augment my verbiage lexicon for the listeners.
Okay. This is Punk Ass. Yeah, I mean, Matt's pretty much hit all the points. I think even though and he kind of hit the point about Matt Major. Matt Major being probably the hardest to deal with was also maybe our